Hello, welcome to Friday. Better still, welcome to Friday afternoon and another Stamp and Chat live. I'm hoping I'm live this time. I'm hoping we're not going to have a whole load of technical difficulties. And I'm just going to see if indeed I am live on my iPad. So bear with me just while I see if I'm there. Oh, and it looks like I am. Hooray. Good. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? I'm hoping nothing will go wrong. I think we've got thunder around the area. My son's dog, who we look after in the day, is very out of sorts. She wouldn't eat her breakfast and she's been hiding all day. So I suspect that there is thunder around that she can sense and I can't. It's certainly quite muggy. But fingers crossed we're not going to lose the internet. So I don't know if there's anybody there yet. No, can't see anybody yet, but I'm sure somebody will turn up in a minute. Well, after last bank holiday weekend, which was beautiful, it's been a bit of a letdown, the weather, for most of this week. I don't know what it's been like where you are. We've had a reasonable amount of rain, surprisingly, which the garden certainly needs, but a lot of cloud as well. And this morning I went out in my sandals, but I had to come back and put my socks on when I got home. So it's not as warm as it was, that's for sure. Hi Gillian, lovely to have you here. Thanks so much for spending part of your Friday afternoon with us. Now I've got a little note down on the floor of all the things I need to say, and I've left it in my bucket. So let me just grab that. I've got all the bits for the different parts of this afternoon session in little plastic buckets on the floor. And I always write a note of all the things I need to remember to say because my memory is not great. Well, bank holiday weekend was absolutely lovely, wasn't it? Beautiful weather. You could not ask for better. Certainly here in the New Forest, we had blue skies and there was not a cloud in the sky, and that's so unusual. It was absolutely gorgeous here. Really, really lovely. We had lunch with friends on Saturday. We sat in their garden the whole afternoon. It was really warm. On Sunday we went to the BBC Gardeners World Fair at Bewley near here, and that was absolutely lovely. We met family and friends there. It was beautiful. And on Monday I sat in the garden with a book pretty much the entire day. I don't know about you, but if you've been doing more social things recently, do you find they tire you out? I mean, goodness me, I'm not an elderly lady yet, but I was exhausted on Monday, having had sort of a day and a half of socialising. Some of it was with people I hadn't met before, and I think that's always a little bit more tiring, but it was ridiculous how tired I was on Monday. I'm just not used to it anymore. Belinda's here, she says hello to everybody. Maureen's here and Sandy's here and says hello to everyone. So welcome, welcome ladies. I'm telling you about my bank holiday weekend, which was lovely, and I'm really hoping we're going to get some sunshine this coming weekend. I've looked at the forecast most days, and at the start of the week it was showing beautiful sunshine right the way through to the end of the weekend and beyond. And then every day they've changed the forecast for that day. So I don't know what the weekend's going to do. I hope it's going to be lovely. So I would like to know, what did you do with your bank holiday weekend, if anything, or maybe you just spent it sitting in the garden doing nothing, and good for you if you did. Let me give you some Stampin' Up updates. So the big thing that's happening at the moment is the last chance list for the January to June mini catalogue. You may know that expires at the end of this month, so all the items that haven't carried over into the annual catalogue are now only available while stocks last. I'm amazed at how many things have sold out already, to be quite honest. Some of the discounts, of course, are amazing, up to 50% on a lot of items. So I think that is tempting people to tick those last few items off their wish list. If you'd like to order any of the last chance items, do please order online if you can. I'm always happy to pop an order in for you, but when you order online, not only do you get delivery straight to your door, which is great and very easy, but also if something goes out of stock, you can see it happen, or if it goes into your basket and you check out with it, you know you've got it. If you let me have your order and then I place it the next day or in 2 days time, who knows what will be available. So my online shop at sallybowman.stampinup.net is a great place to do your online shopping. I do have an order I'm putting in first thing tomorrow morning, so if you've got any odd bits and pieces that you would like me to add to that, let me know. If you can collect from me in Lymington, then the shipping's £1. If you'd like me to organise for things to be sent to you at home, then of course I can do so too, and the standard shipping charge applies for that. Rosie's made it. You haven't done the homework. Don't worry, Rosie. I didn't do the homework either because I thought I really should be cutting live, so you can cut along with me or you can do it afterwards, but I'm very glad you've made it. Okay, Maureen says hi to everyone too. So that's the last chance list. The new kits, which I mentioned last week, are now available to buy. There are 10 different ones, and I've got 3 of them just to show you very quickly in a minute, just so you can get an idea of what's there. The new mini catalogue, I've just said we're on the last chance one for the January to June one. There will be a new mini catalogue launching in August, so look out for that. If you're one of my regular customers or class attendees, then I will be popping one of those in the post to you automatically. But if you don't have a demonstrator who looks after you and you'd like to be added to my list for the new catalogue, let me know. And finally, the last bit of news is if you'd like to do my Fancy Folds class this month, bookings close 5 p.m. today. Each month I put together a Fancy Folds class and I send out all the card and paper and so on. You provide your own stamps and ink pads and I make a whole load of suggestions as to what you can use. It doesn't matter if you don't have the same as my samples. And the class consists of 2 different fancy fold cards. Sometimes they're kinetic, moving cards, mostly they're fancy folds. And you make a template and then you also make a completed project for each of the 2. So you end up with 4 different things that you've made. And there is a video for each of those. I send you unlisted YouTube links. So until we can all meet face to face, I'm doing that class online in that way. So if you would like to book it for this month, then let me know by 5 o'clock today. The class is £15, or if you would prefer, you can place a £25 order with me and then the class is free. So I think that's all the reminders. Kay is here. Hello Kay, lovely to have you. Lorraine is here. Rosie says she's no, you don't want to be cutting card in the hot tub, Rosie, definitely not. That is not a good plan. All right, so today then I'm going to show you some of the new kits and talk a little bit about those, but mostly it's all going to be about a one-sheet wonder. So a one-sheet wonder is where you cut up a piece of stamped card or patterned paper and you use all the bits to make your projects. I put the cutting diagrams for the patterned paper and the card on my Facebook page yesterday or the day before. So they're in a special photo album, so if you haven't seen them, then that's there and you can obviously download those photos and keep them forever if that's helpful to you. I know some of you cut in advance, so you've got your bits already, which is brilliant. I'm going to be cutting live. I'm a wee bit nervous about that because it's one thing to have all your bits and you're just putting something together. It's another to show somebody how to cut up a 6-inch piece of card with no wastage live on camera, but we'll have a go. I've got some spares as well, so we'll get there one way or another. If you did look at the photos and did your cutting previously, then I need to apologise because I realised that my cutting diagram for the card had an error in it. Fortunately, it will mean that one of your pieces of card is a tiny bit too big rather than a tiny bit too small, which would have been a problem. And I'll point that out when we get to it. But I have today uploaded a corrected photograph both as a post on my Facebook page and also I've substituted in the photo album, I've put the correct photo in there as well. So it is all correct now and I'm really sorry if I'm going to require you to cut a little bit off one of your pieces, but it won't be difficult, I promise. Okay, Rosie's saying the new kits are fab. She's made 3 of them now and she's got another one to do. Yeah, I really love them, Rosie. I'm excited to be sharing those with you all. Okay, so the last thing I need to remember to ask you to do is to please like and share this. It really helps me get seen by people who are interested in crafting who might not otherwise find me. So if you're able to hit the share button, that's brilliant. That will get it seen by more people. And if you like or love it, then Facebook shows it to more people automatically. So that's how that works. So if you feel like doing me a little favour today, then you can do those things and I will be very grateful indeed. All right, so I'm just going to put the camera down now onto my desk. As always, I'm going to cover up the lens just so you don't get seasick, and I'll try and get everything as set up as I can before I reveal it, although there are always a few little adjustments to make at the last minute. And I'm looking for my post-it note to cover over with, which I should have handy on my desk. Instead, I'm rummaging in my toolbox. There we go. Okay, we're yellow today. So I'll cover you over and I'll be back with you in a minute. And meanwhile, I'll try and remember to keep talking to you so you know that I haven't gone away to make a cup of tea. Okay, and as always, there are a few little buttons I need to push to try and get everything round the right way and not upside down. So I've set those up. I'll just move the microphone and then we'll have a big reveal and see how we are doing. Just clipping up this long microphone cable and then we'll be there. Okay, so I'll just wait for my iPad to catch up so I can see what you can see. Belinda said she corrected her card with no problem. Great, I'm very pleased, Belinda, thank you. Hi, Pam. All you've missed, Pam, is me wittering on. It doesn't look like my phone wants to be in focus. Let's see if I can sort that out. Oh, that's better, there we go. Rosie's saying hi to Pam. Okay, well that doesn't look too bad actually. I might just leave things like that, leave well alone. Sometimes I make it worse when I try and improve it. All right, so I'm going to show you some kits very quickly. Yeah, thanks Rosie. It's in focus now. It didn't look as if it was at first, but I think it is. I think perhaps it just couldn't focus on the little dots on my grid paper. So at the moment there are 10 kits available, and what Stampin' Up have said is that they are going to once one kit sells out, they will then substitute in some extra kits. I think we can't expect any new kits to come for a couple of months yet, but there are still good stocks of all the ones I'm going to show you, but when they are gone, they are gone. However, the bonus of that means that if you can see a kit in the online shop, or if I'm ordering it for you, if it's there, then you know you're going to get it. But they're not going to put them on back order because they didn't want a back order situation with the kits. So they all come in this absolutely fantastic box. The box measures 9 3/4 inches by just over 6 1/4 inches. And it opens up, and this is really sturdy. It's got like double walls on the sides. It's a beautiful box. These are worth keeping to keep your bits and pieces for cards in, or your spare die cuts, or packing things up to take on holiday. They also make really smart storage boxes to go on a shelf in your craft space. So I think they are absolutely fantastic. Pam says I don't witter on. You're very kind, Pam. Not entirely accurate, but very kind. All right, so when you get your kit, everything inside is wrapped up in some plastic, and there's a good nice sheet of thick mat board underneath it, which if you like to make books or other home decor things, then hang on to the board because it's really thick, very good quality. The first one I'm going to show you is what's described as a non-stamping kit. So there is no stamping in this at all. It's literally just sticking things together. Now, this is brilliant if you have friends that you think would enjoy a bit of crafting, but they don't have any stuff and they don't have any experience of crafting. These are absolutely perfect for them because everything you need is in the box, bar a pair of scissors. Now, most people have got a pair of scissors, or if you want to bump up the gift a little bit for them, then get them a pair of Stampin' Up snips, because if you've used our paper snips, you'll know that they are super sharp. They've got lovely points. The length of the blades is perfect for paper crafting, and they're really, really nice. But any pair of scissors will do for these. Each pack has got a set of instructions in it, so anybody at all can make these up. And they are particularly designed with new crafters in mind. But to be quite honest, I loved making this kit up. Sometimes I just want to sit and craft and not have to think about all the designing side of things. So because everything is in here and it's all been designed for me, that's really perfect. On the back of the instruction sheets, you'll see 2 QR codes. Now, I've got a QR code app on my phone, and all I do is open up the app and hover my phone over one or other of these codes, and then like magic, I get a whole load of information coming up. So there's one which will teach you stamping basics, and there's another one which will give you a video of how to make up the kit in great detail. So I scanned the kits one today for this just to have a look, and it takes you straight to YouTube, where there is a really nice video talking you through the kit and how to make it up, and lots of tips in there as well. So although you only really need the instructions to make up the kit, those QR codes will give you access to extra information very, very easily. So I'll quickly open this up and just show you the kinds of instructions you get in here. So they show you where to put the little sticky glue dots, because there are glue dots in here, so you don't need separate adhesive. And they show you where to put sequins. They show you all kinds of things. So this image here shows you all the bits that you're going to need to make the particular card, and then it will take you through step by step as well. And the instructions for each kit are slightly different in terms of the steps they show, because the kits are all different, but they're very, very easy to see. And then on the front you have photographs of all the completed projects. Okay, now I've got someone ringing my doorbell, so I ought to go in case that's UPS, so I'm just going to leave that there for you to look at. Bear with me. Oh, I'm back. Sometimes when it's the only you in the house, it's lovely. And sometimes it means that you've got to do everything. Right, so this kit I've made up completely, and I'm just going to whiz you through those, and then I'm going to show you 2 others very quickly. So this one makes 9 cards. They are American full-size cards, so they're slightly different dimensions to our UK cards, but they are very pretty. So let me move that box just a little bit. So I've made 3 like this. So the card base is printed, the sentiments are printed. You can obviously mix and match the sentiments. Then I made 3 like this. The sequins on here are really pretty there. If you can see, iridescent. And this is like a foil die cut. And then I've made 3 like this. This one has gold sequins on it and lots of lacy die cuts. And the envelopes are really pretty too. So they're all printed on the outside. And the outside printing is the same, yes, the same on all of them, but inside they're also printed, and there are 3 different versions. So that's got like pale green stripes. This one's got pale blue triangles. And this one has got pale pink dots. Okay, so this card kit then is called Petal Notes. Everything is in there to make it. It makes 9 full-size cards, and the cost $11.25. Now, I think that is absolutely amazing. So Sandy says she can't believe the price of the kits. They're great value for the money, and she keeps collapses and keeps all her Stampin' Up boxes. So that's that one. Now this one I haven't actually made, I've just unpacked it. This kit is another one where there is no stamping at all. And if I can find the instructions in the bottom, this makes 9 cards again. This one would be fabulous to do with teenagers as well as children, and actually I just think it's really pretty too. Most teenagers would love these. They like, you know, like the colours, they like the rainbows. They would make really nice invitations. You can make up the whole pack and give them as a gift. There's so many things that you can do with these. So this has got 3 different styles of card. It's got some plain white cards, which here they are then going to put over the top these very pretty die cut rainbow frames, and then the words on there. Really pretty, those. Then there are 3 cards which are butterfly shaped. I think these are super cute, with like a rainbow butterfly on there. And then the other cards are a rainbow, and there are these lovely detailed butterfly die cut layers which go over the top along with a sentiment. And the other bits and pieces you get in here are these gorgeous iridescent rhinestones. I'm hoping the light will catch those. They're faceted and they're sort of, I don't know, is it Aurora Borealis they call these? I'm not quite sure. They're gorgeous. Belinda loves this kit. She says she wasn't too sure before, but she watched a short video and she wants it now. Rosie wants to colour the big butterfly. You colour away, Rosie. The sentiments are all pre-done and they're in lots of different languages. So if you have friends in Germany or France or Holland, then you're going to have the sentiments to send a card to them. Or, of course, you can just choose the English ones. So lots of sentiments here. You make life brighter. A little note of cheer. And some things. I'm here for you today and always, and you're on my mind. The envelopes for these are also beautiful. They have a scalloped edge to the flap, and again they're printed inside. So one has got a pink butterfly print. One has, well, 3 of them have a green butterfly print. And 3 of them have got a blue stripe, so all coordinating colours for the kit. And then additionally in here they come, as do all the kits, with your adhesive. So you have some little mini sticky glue dots and some dimensional foam pads, plus of course the complete instructions to show you how to make up your 9 cards. Now when I'm crafting in the garden, this is what I'm going to take outside with me, because all I need is to take the box and my pair of scissors. So easy. If you're going away on holiday anywhere, if you're going caravanning, anything like this, this is perfect crafting to take with you. And once again, this kit is $11.25, which I think is brilliant value. It's affordable to give as a birthday present. It's affordable for your kids to give their friends as birthday presents. Absolutely lovely. So the non-stamping kits, there are 4 different ones which all make cards. The last one that I'm just going to whiz through with you is a kit that includes some stamping. The kits that include stamping are £18, and when I show you the stamp set that I have in this, I think you will be astounded. This stamp set, if it was in the catalogue on its own, would be a £16 minimum stamp set to buy. So if you think that you're getting an £18 kit that is going to make you a number of projects, plus the stamp set to keep, plus a mini ink pad, I just think it's extraordinary. They're fantastic for all kinds of things. This kit, if somebody hasn't done stamping before, because it's a kit that will take you through with the instructions both in the pictures and from that QR code you can see the video, it's perfect for a beginner. If you love stamping, you're going to love this kit too. It doesn't have to be just for beginners. They're just so pretty. I've got loads of people here who are saying things. Yeah, they're great for gifts. They're great for hen parties. You could make things up as a gift, and you could make a box for the cards too. Okay, so this one, which I think is my favourite, it's just so pretty. This is going to be one of those kits that when I get to the end of it, I shall wish I had still had some to make, because they're just the prettiest cards. It's called Sentimental Rose. So this is the leaflet, and again you've got the pictorial instructions in there. On the back you've got the QR code to scan. Rosie's already made this one, and yes, absolutely Rosie, this one includes 9 note card sized cards, and it also includes a decorated box to put them in. So I've made up just one of each of the cards so far, so let me just share these with you. So this is really pretty. So this has a printed panel, and then I've stamped on it. I've stamped the words on the label, and then there are corrugated pieces in here. There are enamel dots, there's baker's twine. Absolutely beautiful. The cards are all printed. Okay, this is the second design. So your flowers are printed for you, but then you can add stamped leaves. And again, a corrugated layer and a printed card. And the third style is like this. So this gives you a yellow printed card, and then again you stamp the rose and add your sentiment and your bits and pieces. So the stamp set is beautiful. You've got this large rose, and I don't think I said, but there is a block that comes in the box as well. So you really do have everything you need except a pair of scissors. So you've got the large rose with a leaf, and these are, let me hold that up, incredibly detailed stamps. They're absolutely beautiful. There's nothing economy about these. I was so surprised and delighted when I started using them. And then all the words that you're going to need. So if you're looking for a sentiment stamp set, then get the kit and have the sentiments to keep using afterwards. You've got happy birthday, congratulations, thank you, thinking of you, for you, happy Mother's Day, and best wishes. And then you've also got a little texture stamp here as well, which is always nice to have. So the stamp set is absolutely fabulous. So Sandy's ordered 6 different kits. She loves them. Yeah, I think they are really beautiful. So Rosie's saying the second one is her absolute favourite. Is that one, Rosie? That card, is that what you meant? So as well as the printed card bases, we have envelopes which are printed inside as well. So there's so many little details included in the items. So there's this one, which has got this beautiful coral. This one has got yellow circles. And then this one has green distressed printing on it. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really lovely. And then the box is, it probably won't show up well on camera, the box is an acetate box which will hold all your note cards. And then there is a corrugated card wrap to go round it, and the adhesive is even on your band for that. And then there are some die cut pieces to use for decoration. And I don't know if you can see, this is what the band will look like when it's finished. So this is a beautiful kit, the Sentimental Rose card kit. I think this one is going to be the first one to sell out. You heard it here. So you get that amazing stamp set, you get an ink pad, you get a block, you get all your adhesives, all the pieces to make 9 cards, which are so pretty. You get those pretty printed envelopes. And then when you've finished, you've got this lovely sturdy storage box as well. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 kits which include a stamp set at the moment. There are a variety. Some of them are just cards. Some of them are cards with little boxes. Some of them are sort of party favour boxes, so you could actually hold a party for kids if you're needing to have kids, either for a birthday party or as, you know, any kind of get together in the summer. Craft outside maybe, order some of the kits and all the kids can actually make up a box, and then you could pop their party treats inside, and that's your activity and your party bags sorted in one go. I think that's a brilliant idea. There's one which is designed specifically for kind of male appeal cards, if you like, the kind that you'd make for a man. All kinds of things. So beautiful kits. Have a look online. You can see them all in my online shop, sallybowman.stampinup.net. And I encourage you to see kits differently. They are really, really beautiful. Okay, so I promised you a one sheet wonder, and here it comes. So I made up a set of cards just to show you the kind of thing you can do, and then I'm actually going to go through the whole thing now. So I went with a really vivid colour scheme, and I've used the fine art floral paper, which I now see is sold out. But this will give you an idea. So the layouts of these cards are what I'm going to recreate this afternoon, but the colours will be completely different. But I do think it's absolutely brilliant to be able to create 6 different cards from a 6-inch square of patterned paper and a contrasting 7 by 7¼ inch piece of card. And all I've done is I've added some ribbon and I've added some matting layers and a card base. But it's the clever cutting that does everything. So let me move those down again just so you can see. Now I've mostly made thank you cards because I always need thank you cards. You've probably heard me say before, I send out a thank you card with every order I receive. I also send them out with some of my classes. I send them out for other reasons as well, so I'm always making thank you cards. But of course you can make birthday cards, you can make congratulations cards, you can make thinking of you cards, anything at all. Thank you, Rosie, I'm glad you like them. I was taught as a child that you mustn't put pink and red together, but I'm a bit of a rebel. Actually I really like it, and there is both pink and red in this beautiful paper. I don't know if you can see, I also used the acetate overlays on these as well. I actually cut the paper and the acetate at the same time as each other because of the static electricity on the acetate. It clung to the paper quite nicely. So I have got a double layer on those. Alright, so let me move those to the side. So that gives you an idea of what we're going to create this afternoon. I'd love to know how many of you are crafting along. That's always nice. Crafting in company is always fun. Alright, I'm just going to pull out my cutting diagrams and my patterned paper and my card. I've got a few extras as well, which I'll show you in a minute. So if you're crafting along with me and you haven't done your cutting, I will try and talk you through things simply, and then afterwards go to my Facebook page and look for the photo album that's got these 2 cutting plans in it. So there's one which maps out how to cut the patterned paper, and there's one here which is how to cut your card matting layers. So on this one, that's the green. Okay, so all the green is marked out on here, and I'll kind of talk us through how we're doing it as well. Rosie's saying these cards would be lovely in an acetate box as a gift. You're right, Rosie, actually. When you see them all together with the same colours, they do make a nice set. Gillian's cutting with me. Excellent, lovely, Gillian. Thank you, Rosie. I'm glad that you've hung on to some of my cards. You're very welcome. Now, I'm sitting here taking credit, and I did put the art gallery ones together, but I do need to give credit to the lady who actually designed the cutting plan for this, who's a lady in America called Patricia Dominicci, if I'm pronouncing her name right. I hope I am. You can find her website at jumpingintostamping.com. And I saw this, she did actually share this in a demonstrator group I'm a part of, and is happy for us to share it. But I did not design this. Some of you know that I don't have a very mathematical brain. So once I've got the basics, I can do lots of things with it. But coming up with it is something I would have struggled with. So I'm very, very grateful to Patricia for sharing this. So this is my cutting plan for my 6x6 paper. And I'm going to talk you through that and cut it in a moment. And I've used paper from the Hydrangea Hill pack, which has also now sold out. I'm not surprised. I think this is beautiful, and I've picked my absolute favourite print from that pack of paper. And for the card, you need a piece of contrast card, which is 7 by 7¼ inches. I've got Gorgeous Grape, so you will have something different depending on what your paper is. And as I said before, that's what's going to form the layer which sits behind your little pieces of patterned paper. Then you also need 6 layers, measuring 5½ by 3¾ So for my cards this afternoon, I'm actually using white. I'm going for a much lighter look. So my coloured paper will go on there. And then finally you need 6 card bases. Now of course you could mix and match your colours if you wanted, but I'm staying simple. So I've got Gorgeous Grape card bases, and this is just half a piece of A4 card scored down the middle and folded in half. I also have, because my card bases are dark, I've also got some extra white to make an insert in the card, but I probably won't have time to show you those today, but there's not going to be anything fancy about those at all. I've got some stamping dimensionals. I've pulled out some pearls and some rhinestones. I don't know if I'll use them until I've got my cards together. We'll see. I have some ribbon. I think you probably need a couple of meters in all. I think ribbon really does make a difference, but you don't have to use it, and it will depend a bit on your paper. Some papers don't need the addition of ribbon, but I've got some of the Gorgeous Grape sheer ribbon, which is an absolute favourite at the moment. And then I have some stamps and an ink pad for my words, and I'll come on to those in a minute. So I'm just going to make a little bit of space. Belinda's cutting as well. Rosie says it's nice that it's 6x6 paper. Sometimes she thinks 6x6 is the poor cousin. Yeah, the poor cousin of 12x12. That is true, I think, Rosie. I also think you often have got an odd bit of 6x6 paper, and I just think it's amazing to get 6 cards from 6x6 paper. Right, so let me talk you through. I've got my trimmer here. So I've got my patterned paper plan here. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my card across the middle here. So I'm cutting it at my paper, sorry, cutting my paper at 3 inches. Now you can do this if you've got a one-way design, but it's much easier if you've got an all-over pattern, because you don't have that to consider as well while you're doing it. So there we go, I've just cut my paper in half at 3 inches. So I'm going to put one piece aside for the moment, and I'm just going to work on this top section here, which will give me the pieces I need for cards 1, 2 and 3, and I have marked 1, 2 and 3 on here. Card 3 has got 3 pieces. So I've got this landscape in my trimmer with the long side at the top, and the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at 2 inches. And that gives me the piece of paper I need for card number 1. I also have 6 cello bags here, so I'm going to pop that straight in the one named 1, just so that I don't have to keep remeasuring to see which bit is which. You might have some envelopes, you might just be making little piles on your table. So the second piece is going to be cut at 3, which will give me a piece that's 3 inches square, like that, and that's for card number 2. I'm trying to find my bag that's labelled number 2. Here we are. Let's pop that in there. And when I come to cut the card, I shall post the card into the same bags, and that will make life a lot easier. And that leaves me with a strip which is 3 inches by 1 inch. And then I'm just going to turn this and cut this into 1 inch squares. So they're quite small. It's a little bit fiddly, but hopefully not too tricky. Sandy's crafting along too. Fabulous. So those 3 are going to go in my bag number 3. All right, so I'm now going to bring back my second piece of paper. So I'm now working on the second half of the diagram. And card number 4 has got 2 pieces. Card number 5 has got 4 pieces. And card number 6 just has 1. So I'm going to cut this at 2 1/4 inches. Again, I've got my paper landscape. I've got the long edge at the top, and I'm going to cut it at 2 1/4. And then I'm going to turn that and cut it at 1 1/2, which gives me 2 pieces the same size, like that. So that's for card number 4. So my remaining piece I'm going to cut at 1 inch and 1 inch again. So I'm going to end up with 2 strips which are each 1 inch across and 3 inches long. And then I'm just going to turn these and cut them at 1 1/2 inches, which again will give me equal sized pieces. And when I've done them both, I'll have 4 pieces which measure 1 by 1 1/2 inches. And those are for card number 5. And that is my final piece, which measures 3 inches by, hopefully anyway, 1 3/4. Yes, it does. There we go. So that's my 6 by 6 paper cut into pieces for 6 different cards. It's bedlam here, I tell you. My husband's just come home from work. The dog's barking and there's somebody at the door, so you don't know what's going on. I apologise if you're getting lots of background noise. All right, so I'm now going to cut my card, which measures 7 by 7 1/4. So the first thing I need to do is work out which way is which, because a 1/4 inch difference is not easy to tell just by looking at it. I think that way is 7 1/4. Yes, it is. Okay, so on my cutting diagram we've got 7 going across here and 7 1/4 vertically. So I'm just going to turn this so it's the same way as my cutting diagram. And if I show you the diagram, where I made the error was I actually forgot to chop off this little bit at the bottom here on piece number 6. So I'll talk you through it when we get to it. If you haven't done your cutting already, then that's not a concern. All right, so I've got 7 inches at the top and I've got 7 1/4 inches down on the vertical. And the first thing I need to do is to cut this in half again. It's going to be halfway along the 7 inch length. Have I got this right? Yes. Just double checking. Yeah, okay, it's not halfway across the 7 inch length at all. Ignore me. So I'm actually I've got the 7 inch bit at the top for the first cut only. I'm going to turn it so I've got 7 1/4 at the top. There we go. And I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2. So it's almost in half, but not quite. Like that. There we go. Yeah, Rosie, you did hear my doorbell. My apologies. Fortunately, my husband's gone to deal with it. I don't know who it was. All right, so this piece here measures 3 1/2 inches, and this piece here measures 3 3/4 inches. Okay, now the first time I cut this up, I got those the wrong way round, and then everything is wrong. So I'll just say that again. We have got 7 inches this way, 3 3/4 inches on the top piece, and 3 1/2 inches on the bottom piece. So I'm going to work on the top piece to start with. And the first thing I'm going to do is to cut it at, and I'm just double checking this, you know what they say about measure twice, cut once. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So I'm going to cut at 2 1/4 inches here. And this bit is actually too long this way, so I've just got to turn it and chop it off at 3 1/4 inches. So that now gives me a piece which is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this little bit I chopped off is rubbish. And I'm going to pop this piece in my bag number 1. So the second piece needs to be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to cut it along at 3 1/4 inches here, and then I just need to shorten this to 3 1/4 as well. So I've just turned it through a quarter turn and cut it to 3 1/4. And again, this piece is rubbish. So this piece goes in bag number 2. And then my remaining piece just needs to be 1 1/4 inches by 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to cut 3 squares from this. So it's actually wider than I need. So I'm going to just cut that little extra bit off there. So that's rubbish. And then I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces, each one 1 1/4. There we go. So that's my 3 pieces for card number 3. Rosie's saying that in the joinery industry, measure twice, cut once is a real mantra. One of the blokes cut 10 doors incorrectly. More of a disaster than a piece of card. Absolutely. Right, so I've cut that top half of the card. I've now got the bottom section here. So it measures 3 1/2 that way by 7 this way. And the first thing I'm going to do is to cut it at 2 1/2, I think it is, and I'm just going to once again measure twice, cut once. Yeah, so I'm going to cut it across here at 2 1/2 like that, and then I'm going to turn it and cut it in half, which means I measure it to 1 3/4 inches. And there we go. That's my 2 pieces there for card number 4. Rosie says the incorrect doors were too small, lots of firewood. Not good. All right, so these then are going to be cut, the next ones for card number 5. I need 2 strips cut at 1 1/4. So there we go, the first one at 1 1/4 and the second one at 1 1/4. And then each of these need to be cut at 1 3/4, which cuts them in half along the length. And that'll give me 4 pieces for card number 5. So cutting this one at 1 3/4 again. Card number 5. And so the last piece is very nearly the right size. And this is where I made the error. So it's 2 inches wide and it needs to just be cut to 3 1/4 inches. So if you pre-cut yours, just measure it again and cut it to 3 1/4. I had it down as cutting it to 3 1/2, which was wrong. Okay, So that is the tricky bit done. I can heave a sigh of relief because I'm pretty sure I've got all those right first time. Thank goodness for that. All right, so let's come in then with card number 1. So the first step with all of these is going to be to attach the paper and card together. I'm using my favourite multi-purpose glue because that lets me slide everything and get even borders. There we go. And then I'm going to need one of my card bases and one of my matting layers for the front. So there's my card base and my matting layer. So the first thing I want is some ribbon around my matting layer. So I'm just going to tie it around the center with a bow off to the left. And then my piece of paper and card that I've just put together is going to go on top of this and anchor it down. When you've tied your bow, if it doesn't want to sit nicely, you can always add a strategic glue dot which will hold everything exactly where you want it. Cut a bit more off there. There we are. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do with this because this doesn't want to sit as straight as I would like it. So I'll just pick up a glue dot and just tuck it underneath there. That's still not very straight. Let's just wrestle that into submission a little bit more. There we go. I think it might need a second one. I do this quite a lot if ribbon just doesn't want to sit right. Some ribbons behave and some days they just don't. There we are. And then this is just going to sit over the top of that. You can lay this flat, you can put it on dimensionals. I'll do some of one and some of another, I think. If your ribbon is very thick, then you'll want to use dimensionals just to make sure that this sits nice and flat. Now I'm sticking this on first and stamping afterwards, but if that feels a little bit high risk for you, you can do your stamping first and then just stick this on afterwards. So I'm going to find my stamps. Once again, I'm going to mostly do thank you cards. So I've got stamps from a couple of sets here. I have the art gallery set because it's got so many really useful greetings in it. So I've got the little thank you from that. And then I've got this new set, Flowers of Friendship. So I'm going to use the Life is Better with Friends Like You. And then I'm also going to use this little card, Big Thanks, which I really like. So on this one, I'm just going to use this small thank you, and I have a gorgeous grape ink pad somewhere. So you'll be using something different depending on your paper. So I'm just going to stamp directly on my layer. I'm going to pull it down actually so I can get over the top of it. So apologies if that's slightly out of shot for you. There we are. Rosie likes that little card, Big Thanks too. Yeah, it is brave, Rosie. Brave or foolhardy, one or the other. to stamp directly on this once I've stuck my paper on. There we go. And then that's just going to go straight on my card base, and that's my first card done. And of course, if there's one of these layouts that you really, really like, then you can just make a whole bunch of cards with that same layout, and just from the cutting diagram, just take the measurements you need for this central portion and just cut lots of pieces that size. You don't always have to make all 6 cards. Yeah, I agree with you, Rosie. It is so clean looking, isn't it? I don't very often have a white layer on the front of a card, but I just thought it might be nice with this, and sort of picks up the white background there. And I do like that kind of crisp contrast between the purple and the white. So that's my card number 1. It does need a layer inside for an insert, but I'm not going to do anything with that at the moment. I'm going to get the 6 cards finished because I suspect we're going to overrun anyway. All right, so that's card number 1. Let me find card number 2. So card number 2 is the 2 square pieces. So once again, the first step is just to glue the paper to the card layer that you cut. Like that. Then I'm going to bring in my second layer, my matting layer, and I'm also going to look for my ribbon. There we go. I'm going to tie some ribbon round here. Let's see if I can get it to behave a bit better this time. This sheer ribbon ties beautiful bows, but it's got a little bit of a spring to it, so sometimes it wants to do its own thing. There we go. Those aren't very even, are they? One long end and one short end. Nearly perfect, Rosie. Thank you very much for saying it's perfect, but nearly. Okay. So that's going to go on my card up there. I'm going to stamp first before I stick it this time. And so I'm going to use this little card Big Thanks stamp underneath. So I've laid that in place so I can see how far down my stamping needs to be. You can always put a pencil mark if that makes you feel a little bit more confident. I do love the mix of fonts on this, those block capitals and then that script. I really like that. Glue my panel in place. There we go. And then that goes on another one of the card bases. You can see how quickly these come together. If you've got your layers and your card bases prepared, once you've cut up your paper and the card layers that are going to match the paper, really putting these cards together is very, very quick. And as Rosie said, because they're all similar, they really would make a very nice set to give to somebody. So that's card number 2. I'm just going to have some of my tea while you look at that. All right, card number 3. So this is the one that's got 3 squares. So once again, I'm going to layer up my patterned paper onto the squares. like that. So that's those 3 pieces. Then I bring in one of my matting layers, and I'm going to again put some ribbon around this. This time I'm going to put a piece of ribbon around the left hand side, and if I bring back this one, you can see that the ribbon is coming down the left hand side, and then I've got some stamping on the right, so I just need to get my spacing right on that. So first of all, let me cut my piece of ribbon. There we go. I'm just going to tuck the ends over to the back. I don't need this to go all the way around. So if I put that, it's probably going to want to go about there. I'm going to just rest one of these in the middle there, and then put my stamping there. If I just hold that there, that looks about right, that spacing, I think. I'm just going to move that card piece out of the way and try not to move the ribbon too much. Again, I could mark this with pencil, but I tend to be a bit more of a seat of your pants crafter, so I'm just going to stick that on there. Okay, and now I can pop my ribbon to the back. So I'm just going to pick up a glue dot on each end of the ribbon. And then attach it on the back. I can use my grid paper to keep everything straight. Like that. There we are. And then that will be anchored down on the front by these pieces. Now I think I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals this time for a change. I'm going to put the center one in first, and then I can space the other 2 the same distance above and below it. That's much easier than putting in either the top or the bottom one first and then trying to get everything else to work. So I'm just getting the same distance up here. There we go. So that's the front for that one. So I need another card base. And then card number 3 is done. I haven't added anything in the way of rhinestones or pearls or anything like that. I'm quite liking this kind of very clean look to these cards, but of course on yours you might want to bling them up a little bit, and you just go right ahead. Right, card number 4. This has 2 pieces of paper and of card. If I'm going too fast for you, then don't worry about it. You just carry on at your own pace, and you can always watch the bits that you need to re-watch afterwards, because they will sit here and they'll also be up on YouTube as usual. I just don't want to keep you here till 5 o'clock. So I'm just getting kind of an equal border right, left and top for that one, and then doing the same at the bottom. And then I'm going to do my stamping in the middle here, and I am actually going to put just a tiny pencil mark in the center of that area, just to give me something to work on for my stamping. So I'm going to do thank you on this again. If I've just pulled that out of shot, I'm sorry. I need to get my head over it to make sure it's straight. There we go. I'll rub that pencil mark out afterwards. I'm just going to leave it long enough that I'm certain that the ink is completely dry. There we go, that's the front. So bring in another card base. These really are quick to do. So card number 5, this has got 4 rectangles. Right, so I need another layer. So if you've got grid paper, you can use that to kind of space everything, or you can measure with a ruler, or you can do what I mostly do, which is do it by eye. So I'm going to stamp at the bottom, so I'm making sure that I've got a smaller, a wider space rather at the bottom. I might just bring those together a bit more, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to stamp at the bottom first before I stick. There we are. And if I just move one of these, then I've got the others sitting there to use as guidance for where to stick this one. Hi Antriana, oh, you've been working. Well, a little bit of light crafting is just what you need, I think. So what we've done is we've cut the one sheet wonder following the photographs of the cutting plans that I put up on my page, so you can always come back and see those if you haven't seen them already. And this is card number 5 that we're putting together. And once you've cut your paper and your card layers following the diagrams, the rest is very straightforward, because you're just adding everything to a matting layer that you've stamped and then popping it on a card base. So although the cutting takes a few minutes, once you've done that you can put together 6 cards really quickly. You'll be able to go back and watch the rest at leisure. Yeah, you love a one sheet wonder too. Yes, me too. Me too. They are just, yeah, they're great to put together. So I think I might put a bow in the middle here. So I always hold ribbon in place with glue dots. If you use a liquid glue, you run the risk that it's going to soak through and spoil the look of your ribbon. And the glue dots are an instant grab, which makes life very easy. Okay, so again, I'm just going to pop a glue dot in there and just tweak this tail so it sits a little bit better. There we are. So that's card number 5. And then finally, card number 6. So there's just one piece for this. That's going to go on a matting layer here. I'm going to tie some ribbon around this, I think. So what I didn't mention is, of course, that as well as cutting down a piece of 12 by 12 paper to get the 6-inch square we've used today, of course we do have lots of paper packs which are already 6 inches square. Oh, I'm making a right dog's breakfast of this bow. So of course you can use any of those for this as well. Is this wonky? I'm gonna have to tie that yet again. Okay, I was going to say it was 3rd time lucky, but let's go with 4th time lucky. It's probably because I'm chatting at the same time. Oh, for goodness sake, how many bows have I tied this afternoon? And I haven't had this trouble with any of them. There we go. At last. Okay, which way round does it want to sit? Because I haven't got this stuck on anywhere. It can go whichever way it wants to. I think it wants to go that way. Okay. There, thank goodness for that. It's not my best bow ever, but I'll take it, I think, after all the the trouble I had there. Alright, so that's that little one. So that's going to go on here. And let me just do my stamping. Rosie says it's Revenge of the Bow Fairy. She visits her a lot. Yeah, well, she's obviously in my house this afternoon, Rosie. Okay. And that's my final card base. So you ladies who are crafting along, how are you doing? Rosie says I can keep this vengeful bow fairy. Yeah, thanks Rosie. I thought I might send her back. Okay, that's the last card then, card number 6. I just drank my tea. It's got incredibly muggy here. I think there must be some thunder due. Gillian's doing well. Excellent, Gillian. Glad to hear that. So this is all the cards then. I don't know if I'll get them all on. I might have to do them in 2 goes. So let's start from the beginning. That was the last 3. Let's do cards 1, 2 and 3. So if you have been crafting along, do send me a photograph. You can email it to me at handmadeathome, all one word, handmadeathome@hotmail.co.uk, or pop it into the comments. I would love to see it, or send it via Messenger. It's always so nice to see what you've been making on a Friday afternoon along with me. So that's the first 3 cards. Let me move those up and bring in the second 3 cards. So I hope you're as pleased with yours as I am with mine. I think I'm definitely going to be using this time and again, actually. It's a really quick way of making a little batch of cards, whether they're to send or whether they are to give as a gift. You can change up where you put the ribbon, you can add embellishments, you can obviously make a batch of birthday cards or whatever kind of cards you want. But they are really, really pretty. And actually it would also work for using up all kinds of tiny little scraps of paper. I know Rosie is an absolute past master at using tiny scraps of paper, but you could, you know, think, okay, well, I've got some little tiny pieces, I'll just make this one, and the measurements you want are on the diagram for card number 5, so you can pull those out and just cut 4 pieces of paper and 4 little pieces of card to match. So I do think it's a really versatile one-sheet wonder. Huge thanks to Patricia who designed it and shared it, and I hope you've enjoyed sharing it with me this afternoon. Now before I put the camera up and say a proper goodbye, I'm just going to open up my catalogue and show you what we're doing next week. So I thought I would look at the hand-penned suite next week. So just so you know what I'm talking about. This is the new annual catalogue, page 104. So the hand-penned suite is a stamp set with dies, coordinating patterned paper, and then these really pretty, they're called genial gems, but they're very pretty. They're like clear resin with sparkle in them. So all those things work together for this suite. So I thought I will do some crafting with that next week, and I'll also show you my next suite sampler, which is going to be the hand-penned suite. So I'll have that to show you as well. So that's all going to be happening next week. Let me just cover up my camera lens and say a proper goodbye to you. Rosie's saying that she needs to part company with some tiny little pieces. Is that part company as in craft with them, or actually bin them, Rosie? It can be really hard to say goodbye to some of those pretty little bits of paper, I know. Okay, so I'm hoping that I've fiddled with all the bits I need to fiddle with, and I've got my microphone back in the right place. Hopefully that's it. You're very welcome, Maureen. I'm glad you've picked up some new ideas this afternoon. So if you weren't crafting along with me and you want to know how I cut that paper again, then you can always go back to my page and look for the album where I've put a photograph of the 2 cutting plans, one for paper and one for card, and then you can download those, or you can draw out your own plan, whatever works for you. You're very welcome, Pam. I'm very glad that you've enjoyed it. Rosie, you're going to bin some bits. Shock horror. All right, it's been so lovely to spend time with you again this afternoon. I hope you have a great weekend. I will look forward very much to joining you again at 2 o'clock next Friday. And until then, have a lovely weekend, happy crafting, and bye-bye.